Okay, so there's many ways that I like to get into collar sleeve. In future series, you'll see more and more concepts about us getting the collar sleeve. But one way that is typically the most efficient way that I like to teach students and just beginners in general would be close guard, right? I love close guard. I think it's probably the most important guard for anyone to learn. I still use close guard like a lot of the time, you know. I low key use close guard more in De La Riva in training sometimes, so I really like close guard. So how I'm gonna show you guys how to get the sleeve is gonna be like this. I'm gonna start in close guard. I'm gonna hold the sleeves like so. I'm gonna hold a cross collar and a sleeve, right? There's many different ways I'm gonna show you to get to collar sleeve, but the first one being will just simply be like this. Hold the cross collar. Again, where are we grabbing on the cross collar? I've said this multiple times. We always go by the collarbone. If we could get on the bone of this area, like the collarbone, we'll have a frame on their body. The concept of soft tissue versus bone. Always important. So I got the cross collar. My arm is here, and notice how our elbow and arm is inside my leg, right? Because we're in close guard. So now what are we going to do is we're going to throw our leg over her shoulder. So how I just did it, I did it flexibility, right? I just brought my knee up and I threw my leg over into her armpit. If you don't have this flexibility, you step on the floor. You can bring your knee up like so. You can, I can use my, close your elbow. I can bring my knee up like this to open the elbow. And now my knee shield goes on her arm like this. Now I can put my foot up like this, or I can hook like this. Multiple ways of collar sleeve, right? We can have a knee shield and collar sleeve, like here. We can have a regular collar sleeve. We can have our foot on the shoulder. Okay, but for now, we're here. I'm holding the sleeves. I can throw my leg over. Awesome. If I can't, I step on the floor, move my body out. I go here. Another way I can do it, keep your elbow in. I can hook her shoulder like this, and then I can bury her leg and go in. Totally fine. That's all you need to know about getting the close guard.
You did that one again.
Which one? This last one?
Yeah.
So keep your elbow in. I can hook your leg like this. And then I can bring your elbow to your chest. Sound like you can't
So you're
really keep it.
hooking the arm and then bringing my.
It's like this. Here, and then I push in.
Oh,
And now look, I'm starting over for a triangular posture, right? And now,
that's really cool.
yeah, so I can hook like this and bend to go to collar sleeve. I can go back like this. I can open my foot on the shoulder and go to collar sleeve. I can step on the floor, bring my leg in. There's so many options, but I just need you guys to arrive with this arm inside, my foot on the hip or on the shoulder, no problem, and my other foot on her shoulder, hooking her armpit or in a knee shield like so, to get into our attacks, right? So let's change sides this way, please. I'm here. So while you're drilling this, what I'm going to want you guys to do is, I'm going to want you to do one of these setups just while you're drilling, just to keep practicing setups. If you're watching my De La Riva instructional, I'll always say in it that I like you guys to practice setting it up, because if you can't set up the move, how are you supposed to drill this position, right? So do one of these setups while you're drilling it, like I'm in close guard here, holding the sleeve, I throw one leg over. Now I'm in collar sleeve. I'm here, I'm in close guard, I hook her knee like this, putting her knee to her chest. Now I'm in collar sleeve. If she underhooks me when I'm here, I have a triangle, right? So she literally can't. So, right here, she's in close guard here. I'm here, I step on the floor. I can bury her elbow again and go to collar sleeve, or I could go under her elbow. The concept of opening versus closing is so important when we're doing collar sleeve, right? If her elbow is closed, we push the elbow in and we go around it. If we're able to go under it, we open, we go under it, right? That's all we're doing in this spot. It's going to help you guys a lot just to get there. That's the basic close guard setup, okay? Now, if you want to do another setup for collar sleeve, it would be like this. So let's just say I don't want to open my legs here. I hold both sleeves. I get inside control, which you're going to learn later on in this series. I'm going to back my body up. I'm going to put her arm back inside my leg like so. Once I do this, I have two options. One, I can throw a lasso over her arm, back to collar sleeve. The other, when I have the inside control, I can put my foot on her shoulder inside. You see? So here or here. Both make us arrive in the same spot as well. Okay? In this series, you'll constantly see me explaining both, setting up collar sleeve, doing one or the other, you know. You're gonna learn a very deep concept of inside control versus outside control when I'm playing collar sleeve, because there's two worlds of collar sleeve essentially. One where the arm is inside my body, and one where the arm is outside, where my leg is inside, where I have established inside control. Opposed to when my leg is on the outside and I have outside control. Okay? So you'll see me constantly in the first part of this series teaching outside control. Later on, you're gonna learn inside control of collar sleeve. Okay? But for now, I'm keeping her arm inside my body, enabling me to do all our attacks which are to come. Okay? So I'm here. The first one, I'm here, I throw my leg over. 1. Stepping on the hip, foot on the shoulder. You're gonna learn about all those things soon. The second one, I'm here. I go here, I can bury her arm. Pushing her elbow to her chest. I can use my knee shield, or if I can bring my foot in like a De La Riva on her arm and press. Now, I could go foot on the shoulder again. If she tries to underhook my leg, she gets triangle. You see? So she can't do that. So I'm here, I'm here again, closed guard. I step on the floor. I stepped on the floor now to make more space if I'm not flexible. I go knee shield on her elbow. If her elbow is bent already closed, I go knee shield. Now I go foot on the shoulder. If her elbow is more open here, I go under her shoulder. You see to open her elbow. Both are valid there, okay? So we're going either over or under the elbow. So I'm here. 1, I step on the floor. 1.
That was cool.
I go 1, here. 2, I try to open your elbow, please. I step down on the floor. I just go under. And I end up in collar sleeve here. Okay? Both are totally fine. Then the second one, if I want to do it from open guard, I hold both sleeves. I establish inside control. I back my body up. I bring one arm inside my body. I put the foot on the shoulder like so. Or I throw my leg over the shoulder. Again, inside versus outside control. You're going to learn so much about this in this series, okay? So it's either I could go when I'm here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we end up in collar sleeve just again like so. Again. This is hard for me to do this motion. I could literally just move my body back, knee shield, again, here. And every time I do the knee shield under my leg, you feel like you even can?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So they will give me a triangle. So these are the positions I want you guys to add in while you're drilling. Just so you have a setup that you can work. There's maybe more complex ways to get the collar sleeve that we could discuss later on. But
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
Why do you like to start from like a setup? You don't like to just start in the move itself?
Because I've noticed a lot of people that when they drill, this is a very, very big problem that you'll see when people drill. They'll drill an attack. Everyone knows attacks in jiu-jitsu. But can you get to that attack is a whole other thing. In the black belt level, the hardest thing in the world isn't actually finishing a move. The hardest thing in the world is arriving in the position to get to your attack. Okay? Because everyone's so good at neutralizing spots. Everyone's so good at defending spots. But the hardest part in jiu-jitsu is actually getting to that spot. So we have to always be drilling a way of getting to the spot. This series is on attacks. There'll be many other series of guard retention and other things that I'll show you how to arrive in other spots. But I can't, with a clear conscience, just give you guys attacks without giving you some setups to use while you're drilling, okay? Because how I drill, I always drill a setup to get to an attack, and then I attack, okay? I always do that. I never just drill an attack, because then you're not wasting time, but you are, because you're not doing a full motion of a move, okay? So it's very important you always drill an attack and a setup along with an attack. I think that's going to help you guys a lot in the long run in your overall jiu-jitsu development, and you'll feel more comfortable getting to the position, you know? There's a billion ways to get the collar sleeve. These are 4 basic ways, but grouped into 2 ways. 2 basic ways to get the collar sleeve, and I think these are both going to be essential and help you a lot while you're doing this position, okay? So we're gonna do this now, and then we're gonna move on to other things to come, but I just wanted to give you guys a few setups that you guys could use. Okay guys, so now what I'm going to get into is a discussion about a position. And this position we all learn in Jiu-Jitsu known as the scissor sweep. I think this is one of the first things many students learn when they start learning Jiu-Jitsu. And I kind of have watched many instructors teach this position, and I think that they teach it not that well, I don't think they're teaching it right. A lot of times instructors are teaching it, and the biggest problem I see with people teaching the scissor sweep is my head being aligned with her head. How could I finish a scissor sweep here if my head is aligned with her head? You see, my body wouldn't be able to move around her. Submission exposure I could do when I'm aligned with her head, but doing a scissor sweep, I would have to pull her arm completely up. I think that I really don't like the way that I see the scissor sweep taught, like currently in Jiu-Jitsu. So the concept I'm going to tell you guys about scissor sweeps is a change of angles. When I'm doing a scissor sweep, my head, this is a rule of scissor sweep, unless you really, really bring this arm forward, which you would be attacking a submission if you brought that arm forward. But if my head is aligned with her shoulder, I could scissor sweep her because I created an angle on her body. What was the rules of balance that we learned in De La Riva? If you are not familiar with De La Riva, the rules of balance we learned in De La Riva, whenever I'm able to make my opponent in a different angle than their body, their spine is manipulated. Because for me to have base and balance, my head has to be square with my body. Now I can be strong and balanced. That's why to scissor sweep someone, if you're square with them, I have to pull the arm completely forward to do it. But that's not practical. I would go for a submission if I'm pulling the arm completely forward. I just don't see it as the correct thing to do in that scenario. But if I make the person's body not aligned with their spine and they're facing a different direction than their knees, now for me to face my opponent, look how my knees are a different way. Look how my head is a different way. Now if I face you, I fall because I don't have base when my body isn't completely aligned with itself. So maybe I can do a scissor sweep if the person's spine is aligned with themselves, but I'm using strength. I don't think that is the correct time to do it. I love the scissor sweep. It's one of my favorite moves. I do it in training all the time, and I've done it in competitions since I'm a kid. My sister used to do it to boys when she used to fight in like Nagas and like all those things when she was a kid. I feel like it's a move that you feel like you're using no strength to do at all, right? You just feel like you're just cutting the person and then you just fall. It's a move that you just feel their body collapse, and you should feel like you're doing nothing to do it. Okay? Why I was very big with teaching the submissions I taught you. This is another concept for you guys. I explained this in the De La Riva instructional, and I'm going to explain it now. It's the concept of sweep versus taking the back. In De La Riva, I explained there's 2 things I could do, and they're both directly correlated. 1, I'm taking my opponent's back. Their hips are off the floor. For my opponent to defend me taking their back, they have to put their hips to the floor, giving me a sweep. Okay? That's our rules of sweeping. If we want to sweep someone, if we go for their back, for them to defend the back, they give us a sweep. Because they have to defend their hips being off the floor. They have to face us, which gives us a sweep. Literally, spine manipulation. So stand up, please. I just want them to understand that concept. So let me just have the belt here. And I'm like this. So I'm going there. If I'm here and I start going for her back here, she wants to face me. Look how she falls. Right? Because you didn't want to give the back, right?
Yeah.
So now, stand up. If she didn't face me, I'll take her back. So every time she wants to defend the back, she tries to face me. And then she falls. giving me a sweep. You see, so every time I go for a back take, she gives me a sweep. Or she's going to give me the back, but it's a rule of sweeping. Why I'm explaining to you this is because submission exposure has the same concept as sweeping, as taking the back. When you go for a submission, for the opponent to defend the submission, they give us a sweep. Exactly the same concept as taking the back. Knowing that will make you way, way, way more efficient at sweeping your opponent. It's funny because a lot of times people ask me, how are you so good at sweeping someone? How are you so good at sweeping someone? And I always respond the same thing. Because I'm not trying to sweep them. If you're trying to go for a submission, if you're trying to go for the back, you get the sweep every time. Because they defend that, and then they give you the sweep. If I'm going for a sweep, they're defending the sweep. If I'm aligned with her here, in collar sleeve, it's what it is, and I'm trying to sweep her and her head's aligned with me, and you know I'm trying to sweep, you just stay up. How could I sweep her if that's all I'm trying to do? Her spine is aligned with herself. She doesn't have to defend anything. Why would I go for a scissor sweep there? She doesn't need to defend that. Her spine is aligned with me. It's forcing a move. It's really forcing a move to do it in that scenario. Sweeping in general should always be you should be sweeping someone always while going for a submission or taking it back. It should always be a correlation between those two things. If it isn't, it's going to be a lot more difficult to sweep someone. With exceptions to double ankle sweeps, tripods, things like that. But I think the most efficient way that you could sweep anyone is when you're attacking a submission or the back. It's just, they have to defend that, and then they give you the sweep. So now I'm going to recap what we learned about the rules of balance when the person's on the knees. And this concept's identical to the rules of balance when the person was standing. What did we learn about when the person's standing? In De La Riva, we learned that whenever my body is aligned one side, so my arm and leg are on one side, I collapse, right? Because all my weight goes to this leg whenever my weight's on this arm, and I fall. There's no balance in that scenario. So if I'm on my knees, and it's the same thing. If my elbow closes and all my weight goes to this arm and leg, I fall, right? What did we just learn now, though? If my head is aligned with my body and they try to tilt me, I might fall, but I also still have a little balance because my spine is aligned with myself. But if my spine is not aligned with my body, and now I try to put weight forward, now I fall. So, how I want you guys to see the scissor sweep is, I want you to see the scissor sweep as an opportunity whenever we're able to close our opponent's elbow, whenever we're able to misalign their spine, whenever we're able to transfer their weight from behind their body to in front of their body. That is when we do it. And when we're going to do it is after submission exposure. By me teaching you the triangle, by me teaching you the omoplata, for her to defend that, what did we learn is the biggest defense? What is the biggest defense when I'm attacking a triangle or omoplata?
Backing up?
No. If you back up, look at your arm. Look at the gap.
Oh, closing my arm.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Because how can I omoplata triangle you if what do we need for me to triangle omoplata you?
My
elbow and my hip, right?
Yes.
So we need this elbow to her lap. For her to defend that, she puts her elbow in here. Wait. Her elbow's in here. What does that mean? Her weight is transferring over here. You see? So our rules of balance, our rules of the balance is here now because she's already closing her elbow. So what does that mean for us? That means if we can misalign her spine with her body, not only will I be able to make her balance off balance in our rules of balance, right? Spine manipulation. I'll also be able to make all her weight go to this leg, all on this side. So her weight goes to her elbow, all her weight goes to this side. What does that mean? Where does she have any base? She doesn't, she falls. Sorry. That is what a scissor sweep is. It's manipulation of your opponent defending a submission, anything, closing their elbow. The second we can close their elbow, the second we can accomplish this scissor sweep. Okay? That is why I think for anyone learning this series, anyone that is an instructor, when they teach scissor sweeps in class, they should always teach going for submission, the person defending the submission, and then we expose the scissor sweep because they're directly correlated, okay? So now I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to be here now in collar sweep. So another cool thing about scissor sweep, I could do a scissor sweep with the foot on the shoulder. I could be hooking the armpit, or I could be with my leg right below, like right in this soft area of her body, putting my shin, right? Like a cut. They call it a scissor sweep because my legs are cutting each other like this. So like a scissor. You see how like the scissor cuts? I'm like cutting her body, right? So let's change this side of the chart. So all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to be in collar sleeve, my foot here. I'm going to have the foot on the hip. I'm going to start pulling her shoulder to me. She's going to close her elbow, right? So now, look, I can't bring her elbow to me. We learned many, many ways that we can manipulate this elbow to me. But I don't want to do that this time. I know I can scissor sweep her because she did this. So what am I going to do? All I'm going to do is this. If I try to go scissor sweep here, if I'm very strong, I might be able to. But look, I'm not going to be able to still because if I'm not stronger than her, her head is still aligned with my body. Okay? Look how her head is aligned with my body. You still have balance, right?
Yeah.
You see? But watch this. When I use the collar grip as a spine manipulation, keep your elbow close, please. And now I bring my knee back here. Wait, I want you guys to see something. Look at my head now. My head, if I'm looking at her body, I'm no longer looking at her head. You see, before I was here, now look, I'm here. My head is aligned with her shoulder now. So now that my head's aligned with her shoulder, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to place my foot on the side of her body. So another way that I like to show this is to go this way. Look at my foot. If I hook this part of her foot here, and I try to tilt her, she still has base because this part of her leg is free. So base your knee, like stay up.
Oh, this?
I said base and you sat down.
Like this?
Yeah, look.
Sorry.
I try to sweep her, look. She has base. But if I am able to transfer my foot on both parts of her leg, so this and this together, now when she tries to sit, she has no base. You see?
That's crazy.
So I'm trapping both parts of her leg with my foot when I do a scissor
What were
sweep.
you originally trapping?
Typically, people always seem to do this, right? Like all these different things here, here, here. But then one part of your leg is free. So if I try to tilt you, this part of your leg is free. If I try to tilt you, you have your toes. So you can even go on your toes now. You see, now look. But when I go on both parts of her leg, look how your body falls because you have no base on your hip.
Wow.
So watch. I'm going to explain because you're not really So you're here. If she goes on just this part of my leg, it's this one. She goes on this part of my leg, look. My butt is still free to open my knee. If she goes on the top part of my leg, my heel is still free to move. You see the difference? Go on the bottom again so that you can see. So when you go here, my butt is still free. You see how my hip is still free? So when she tries to tilt me, I could open my hip, I could open my knee. You see, because she's on the bottom part of my leg. So my hip is free to open and then my knee comes up. She goes to the top part of my leg, she tilts me, my leg is free. So when we do a scissor sweep, our goal objective is to chop both parts of my leg here. Because now I don't have my hip and leg, so I fall. Now stand up, please. Now go back on your knees. Having this understanding of what we're doing to the leg is so important. You see, we're trapping both of this together, and now we can pull the leg down. So what did we learn so far? Let's recap. We learned if my head is aligned with her head, I would have to use a lot of strength to do the scissor sweep because I would have to pull this arm very, very high up. I would have to chop the arm, and I would have to throw it down to sweep her, which is not ideal. That's using strength. We learned that the rules of balance are what we're using to do a scissor sweep. We learned the new concept of submission, attacking a submission is what gives us a sweep. We learned previously in De La Riva that attacking the back gives us a sweep. Now we're learning attacking a submission gives us a sweep. We learned why we're attacking this arm and what her defense is every time we attack this arm because we want to put her elbow in my lap, right? That's our objective in collar sleeve. She closes it. Now, what did we learn? We learned that if I have to misalign her body with I have to misalign her spine, her head with her body like this. So then my body's facing her shoulder. Once we make our body facing the shoulder and she comes back to face us, now we are able to transfer all her weight to this leg. We're able to keep all our weight on this arm and this leg, her elbow closed. Once we are able to achieve this, there's still a chance she can defend because of this leg. If I only chop this part of her leg, her hip comes up, and now her knee comes up, and she's able to bring her knee down. If I only chop this part of her leg, she's using her toes to base and walk her toe. Yes. She's able to stay up. So we have to chop both parts of her leg here, and then she falls. That is how we're able to achieve this scissor sweep, okay? And you learn in many of our rules of the cross collar. There's many different applications of using this cross collar, right? Remember I explained this previously, how we use the cross collar as a frame on the collarbone, right? There's another way that we use this cross collar, which is spine manipulation, making her head face a different direction than her body. If her head is facing a different direction than her body, what does that mean? That means that her balance is off because she's no longer the same direction as her body with her head. In future lessons, we're going to learn many other ways that we're going to do this position, okay? But for now, this is going to be the first way that we're going to learn the scissor sweep. I'm going to use my cross collar, misaligning her spine with her body. I'm going to try to pull her sleeve to me. When she closes her elbow, which she has to defend the sweep, look what's going to happen to her body. That is all we're doing when we do the motion of a scissor sweep. Having this knowledge of how to manipulate the body to one side is so important when we're doing this, okay? So here, now we're going to see it happen one time. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in collar sleeve. My foot's on the shoulder. I'm going to move my body. Her head is aligned with my head. I'm holding the collar. I'm going to start attacking the omoplata, the triangle. You're going to close your elbow. Close your elbow, please. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to punch her head away from me like this. I'm going to place my knee on top of her shoulder with a modified collar sleeve like this, or I can have it on top of my shoulder. It doesn't matter. I just have to misalign her spine with her body.
Which one do you prefer?
I do both. There's no exact preference. If you're hand fighting me here and we're like this, I could be like this more, and then I end up back here anyway. Okay? So now I'm going to be here. My head is facing her shoulder. Now change sides. This way. Here. So what I'm going to do now is this. When I get to this spot, my foot could be on the shoulder, could be under the armpit, or on the side of her body. I'm going to show you how to do all of them anyway. Close your elbow, please. I misalign her spine on my side like this. All I'm going to do is this. I'm going to move my body out just a little bit. Keep your elbow close. I'm going to push her neck this way, right? I'm going to bring my knee back this way. Why am I doing this? Because the second I bring my knee back this way, look how my knee sits on my wrist, and I can push down her shoulder more. So keep your elbow closed. Look at this. Now I'm going to put the side of my foot on her leg, just like I just showed you. Look. Look how the side of my leg is on her foot and her butt. Now look how she's going to fall. You see how her body just collapsed and I used zero strength. All I did was straighten my arm and then I just tilted her. Okay? So look what I'm doing. We call her sleeve. I start going for the omoplata. She closes her elbow. I move her head this direction. Look how I angle my body. So first I misdirect her head. And now I'm already looking at her shoulder. But if I go like this, how can I go for a scissor sweep if my leg is not this direction? I have to be on my side of my body, right? So all I do is if I move her body, I could use my knee here if I want, or I could go above my wrist already. I move my body to the side, just a little hip escape. Now once I arrive here, all I'm going to do is this. Elbow close, please. I'm going to push her away. I'm going to pull her forward. My knee on top of my wrist, like so. Now I'm going to put my foot on the side of her hip. And look how she falls. Guys, look how important how I'm already facing her shoulder. Again, we never do a scissor sweep if my head is aligned with her head. If my head's aligned with her head, look at this. See, strong? Look. I can chop her like even like that before. Look. I cannot sweep her. There's no way. I have to be on an angle to sweep her. You see, a scissor sweep is all about angling around your opponent. You might see people teach the scissor sweep, lifting the arm up. Let me have your arm.
Oh.
Lifting the arm up, doing this, and sweeping them. But look how much I have to pull the arm. That's why I don't like to teach the scissor sweep like this. And that's why I don't do it like that, because it's strength. You have to use a lot of strength to pull the person's arm like that. That's not the correct way in jiu-jitsu. We want to do it what we get. If I'm able to pull their arm, why am I not going for a triangle? Why am I not going for an omoplata? So the best way to do a scissor sweep is every time I'm here, she closes her elbow. I bring my knee down. I push her shoulder away. I bring my knee on top of my wrist like this. I just want you to see something come into me. So the modified collar sleeve before was like this, right? And I was able to keep her hand this way. My knee on top of my wrist like this, come into me. I wanted her to come into me because first I do this. I bait her, look, come back down, please. I push her head away from me. I bring my knee on top of my wrist. Now she's gonna drive into me, right? Drive in. Now she's gonna drive into me. So what just happened? When she drives into me, her shoulder's coming. Come back, please. When she drives into moving her head back square, like this, she's putting all her weight onto this side. Now I chop her leg and she falls. You see? What she tried to do before was wrong because what she was doing was she just leaned into me. I can just triangle her if she does that. You see? Which is going to be the next concept that we're going to learn. But right now, she's trying to square her head because she doesn't like that her head is misaligned with her body. We learn in jiu-jitsu, on the first day, you always should be facing your opponent. If you're not facing your opponent, you're going to get your back taken. You're literally have to face your opponent always when you're on top, right? So when I'm here in collar sleeve, and I'm in collar sleeve here, you see I can't scissor sweep her because her head's aligned with her body. I push her neck away. I add my knee in here. Now come, look. Come back, please. Look. So all I do is I bring my knee above my wrist. I'm here. She faces me. Look, I can even be on her armpit right now. Look. I just have to put my foot on the side of her body. And I start pulling her arm. Look, she's closing her elbow. Stay here, stay. Where's all your weight right now?
On my leg and my arm. Like this side.
It's all your leg, right?
Yeah.
Look how she falls. She cannot stay up because our rules of balance are applied now. Again, if she does not look into me here, look. If she does not look into me, look how her arm comes out. Look how her arm comes out. So she has to close and look. See how her body collapses the second she tries to close her arm and face me? That is all we're doing when we do a scissor sweep, guys. Okay? So I'm going to show you one more time with the foot on the shoulder. And then I'm going to show you the other ways I can do it with different leg positions with my back leg. Okay? But what I'm trying to get at is it doesn't even matter which leg position I do. What matters is you following our rules of balance. What matters is you following our angle position, facing her shoulder, not her head. If you're facing her shoulder and not her head, you will be able to scissor sweep anyone, no matter how big they are. Once their elbow closes, defending the upper body attack, you will be able to sweep them because all their weight will be transferred to that knee. Okay. So I'm here. I'm in collar sleeve. I start trying to pull her to me. I'm facing her still. Now what I'm going to do is this. I go on my side. I push her head away from me. I punch it. Lean forward a little more so they can see how I punch. I punch. Now I bring my knee in under her chin. So now when she faces me, all I do is I put my foot on this part of her leg. Just face this way so they can see my hip. When I'm here and I punch her away and she faces me, look how my foot is here. If I need to, guys, I can back my body up a little bit like this. How do I back up? I have two ways to back up. I can use my neck to back up, or I can use my elbow to back up. Once I back up, I have a little more space on my side of my body, and notice, my head is aligned with her shoulder. I'm not aligned to her head. I'm aligned to her shoulder now. I'm on this hip. I'm on my left hip, right? Once I'm on my left hip, I have plenty of space to place my foot on this part of her leg, chopping this part of her leg. Once we do this, we're able to make her body fall. So we make a side foot on the part of her leg. So I'm here. I punch her shoulder. Look, I can almost, I punch her shoulder. I add my knee in. Now I can use this to move my body. Here. Now my head is aligned with her shoulder. Once I arrive here, what I'm going to do is, all I'm going to do is put the side of my foot on her body. I'm going to punch her away. She's going to face me. Go back. Please. This way again, please. They have to seize my back leg. My knee comes in, I go here. Once I'm here, don't even face me this time. She still can't stay up. Why is that? Because her spine is misaligned with her body. You're gonna see how she can stay up there, and that's what I'm actually baiting. But I want you guys to see what's happening. Every time she stays there and she puts any weight on that forward leg and her weight's on that elbow closed, she gives us a sweep. So now, I'm gonna show you hooking the shoulder this time, okay? So we learned it in collar sleeve before. When I'm in regular collar sleeve, she takes this foot off the shoulder. I go to modified collar sleeve, right? Now I'm gonna hook her shoulder the second I get here. I'm gonna move my butt, keep your elbow close, please. I'm gonna keep my elbow out. I'm gonna bring my knee above again. Now I'm gonna move her head, I'm gonna go here. Look how my head is already facing her shoulder. Try to stay up with your elbow closed and your knee down.
Like this?
So I do modified collar sleeve, I move your body. Okay, let's stay up.
No.
As you see, look how her body falls, even when it's hooking the armpit. Because it doesn't matter. As long as my head is facing her shoulder and her elbow's closed, and she keeps this elbow closed, she will have to fall when we're doing collar sleeve. It's just the rules of balance. Okay? That is all we're doing there. Now I'm going to show you one more I'm going to show you this variation again, then I'm going to show you one more way I can use my back leg. Okay? So I'm here. I'm here. I'm in collar sleeve. She takes my foot off the shoulder. We're here. She's holding my shin, whatever. I go modified. I move her body back. I hook. I add my knee in. So I'm here. I can even use this to move my body back. I can use this to move my body back. Just so my head is facing her shoulder. I'm initially square, right? I just push her away. I go here. I go on the side of my body here. Now once I get here, I'm in the perfect spot, right? So I punch her away. I start pulling the arm. She closes. I put the side of my foot on her leg. Try to lift your knee up or stand up here. There's no way, right?
No.
Your leg is completely chopped.
Yeah, it was the only thing I could do was with that leg, but it didn't make a difference.
Yeah. So go back. This way now, so I can see my leg again. I'm here. I'm in the modified collar sleeve from before. My foot's on the hip, whatever. I move my body back using my knee shield. If you notice, both positions, my shin is across her body. Look how my knee is on her shoulder and my shin is across her body. This is so important, guys, because it makes me able to tilt her whole body down. Like her whole body could fall because of my shin being completely around her body. So that is why we're using our shin in this way. Opposed to if I was just like this would be strong, but I don't have as much control of her chest, right? When I have my shin on her chest, look how her body falls. You feel it's way stronger when I have this like connection to your chest, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to show you the spider again, the foot on the shoulder. I'm going to show you hooking, and then I'm going to show you one more way. I'm here. I'm going collar sleeve. She closes her elbow. I have the foot on the bicep. I go here. I punch her away. I go on my side. I use my knee on her neck like this. Now my head's facing her shoulder. I'm going to pull the arm. She closes. I'm going to punch her neck away. I'm going to use my knee. She faces me. Now she falls. Come back. Then I'm going to do it real speed. See, that's all I need to do. I'm manually manipulating her spine that she's not facing me anymore. So then I can do this sweep. In later segments, we'll learn how to, like we've learned before, manually versus anchor. This one, I'm able to manually move her body out of place to do the scissor sweep, okay? So now the underhook one again, the shoulder one. So we're here. She takes my foot off the armpit. I'm here. I'm moving here. I'm trying to move here. I'm trying to move here. I go here. I push her shoulder back. I move on the ball of my foot. I can use this or this. I just get the ball of my foot here. I move her shoulder this way. I bring it over now. I tilt. Look. Now she faces me. Once I finish the scissor sweep here, guys, I have many options. I can go immediately to mount. I can switch to an arm grip here, which I really like to do. And now I have arm control of her body like this, where I can come into an arm bar, or I can take the back here with a Kimura grip like this. I do this all the time. I have many different variations I like to do there. But you could come up any way you want. I just don't want you coming up in single leg X. So if you do a scissor sweep, and you're here, elbow closed. I don't want you to come up with her knee inside like this. Now I'm exposing myself for a submission. So whenever you get here and you're here, I want this knee to protect you from that happening. My shin and knee are gonna help me come up. So come back this way a little bit. Just fall down. And this, I think this angle is good. So I'm here, and come back up so I get to show this week. So I'm here, I push her away, I go here, she falls. I get here. I bring my knee under her body like this. And as I do this, I'm gonna bring my hip like this. So now, for her to get single leg X, she needs to go under my body. If I'm here, she needs to bring this knee under my body, right? Look. Single leg X is a position where she can attack a foot lock, she can attack many different sweeps. I'm not landing in a very good position, you see? Look how her knee is inside my legs because my knee is away from her. The only way she can do single leg X is if this knee is off her hip. If I land with the sleeve and I bring my knee and shin across her body, bring your knee in. See, she can't. And now I can bring my hip in. I can bring my hip in. Now I can put my foot on the floor. I can grab the shoulder if I want. I can grab the bicep. I can grab this collar, whatever I want to do. And now I can come to the top. Because I cleared the space that she had to bring her hips in. And also, notice when I use this shin here, guys, I'm able to bring her hips this direction. The more I can bring her hips this direction, the less chance she has of putting me in single leg X. She might try to put me in half guard here. That's not half guard. You just underhook my leg. Put my leg in between your legs.
Oh, here.
She might try to put me in half guard here. And if she does this, this is great because I have the cross grip on her arm. Now I can come this way and get an arm triangle here. Or possible other attacks. But what I'm trying to do is clear my shin, use my shin on her body. I land here and I'm trying to lift her body to bring her hips the other way. Right now she's facing me, so I'll go to mount. But as she's trying to bring her knee in, I can move her body. You see how your body moves when you try to face me, but when you just try to stay square, nothing happens because I can just go to mount. So when you're here, try to turn into me. Now I can use my knee like this. Now start underhooking my body, my arm. Turn into me. You see how your body's starting to move? And now I can come in. So again. Here. Again, the modified collar sleeve is amazing for this scenario because I'm able to use it to move her head away from me. So I personally love to use the modified collar sleeve just to move her, and then I do the sweep. So I always do it like this typically. I also do it with the hand above, like initially, but I prefer to even just go like this. If I want to sweep her. Here, I do this, she comes back. I end here, look. Her elbow's inside my body right now, right? I just lift the elbow up and I bring my knee in like this. I bring my knee in. Now try to face me. You underhook my leg here, underhook my leg. I have a triangle. You see? So again, underhook my leg in this girl. She underhooks my leg. All I do is this. I grab her elbow. I pull it up. And now look how I can go on my elbow like this. Once her elbow's off the floor, my body's in front of her arm. Look how I could go for a triangle. See like how I have a perfect angle to attack a triangle here? Or other arm exposure where I could just go more grip, go to an arm bar as well. This series, we're not really covering finishes for submission, but that's another viable way that you could get a submission there. So again, I'm here. So sleeve, at the front of the shoulder, I initially am going for the omoplata, she defends. I push her away, she comes back, she falls. Now her elbow's closed, right? So all I do is I lift the arm up. If the arm is too hard to lift up, I bring my body to her, facing her, and now I can even just take my leg out here. So if I feel that this is hard, I bring my knee in, I hook. Now I hook this way. Now try to face me. Look how I go right to knee on belly. And I have a collar grip, so she starts turning into me more. I even have a choke here. Or I have this to turn her spine. You see? So that's another option we can do if you don't want to even go to mount. And I land here, her elbow's too close, and she's starting to face me too much. I pull the collar, I turn my leg, and I hook. So instead of going to mount like this, I do this. I start coming up, she starts underhooking, she's moving me here, I go like this. Try to come up here. Are you able to?
No, I feel like
Because of this guy. Yep. Okay. Just trying to give you different alternative finishing options here. There's so many. If you're a beginner, just go to mount. Just bring that knee in and go to mount. Just no single leg X, please. Please, no single leg X. Okay, so we're here. I'm here. So now we have two ways to alter her. By punching this like this to here, or doing this to punch to here. Both are completely fine. And remember, step one. What is step one? We're going for the submission from before. She defends. So now I have the two ways to punch her wrist. One or two. Both are fine. Now I just use it to move my body a drop. So my head is aligned with her body, and I'm on my side hip like this. I'm not square like this anymore. I'm just on the side of my hip. Because once I'm on the side of my hip, my head is aligned with her shoulder. So I just got to make a hip escape. And also, if I'm square like this, I can't really chop her leg. So when I do this, I am able to chop her leg now. The side of my foot going on her body, I could tilt her. Okay, so we're here. Main collar sleeve. I'm in this spot here. So I try to go omoplata square, right? I'm going the last, I'm trying to do all this, so I'm here. All I'm going to do now is I have my two options, modified or regular. I push her away. She comes back into me. Now all I'm going to do is put my foot on the floor, I move my body, and look, when I'm here, I'm not sitting up on my elbow. I really can, but for now, all we're going to be is on our elbow like this. Just on our floor like this. We're just holding the sleeve, and look, when I make this sleeve grip on her arm, look how my finger is above her hand like this. I don't want her arm to be able to post. So I kind of do want her arm to post, but for now, if I want to finish this sweep, my hand is above this. Because for her to post her hand, and I'm here and I start sweeping her, like post your hand, she needs this part of her hand to post. So whenever I'm, come back up please.
Oh.
Whenever I'm here and I go to sweep her, if I sweep this part of her hand, she's going to post her hand still. But if I get over, come back. If I get over this part of her hand and her elbow's closed, and I get over the thumb and this part of her fingers, she won't have any post. Now I get her here. I could bring my knee under her armpit if I'm able to. If it's closed, I don't. I go here. If I'm able to, I can bring it under the armpit also. Look, now I can hook. Or if it's closed, I go here and I hook. Everything, I'm showing you so many different ways because there's so many different ways. If you're just a beginner, you just want to drill this sweep, you just come to mount like this. I just bring my hips up. I grab the collar. I just come up. Using my head, I can come up. I can grab the arm to come up. There's many different ways I could come up to mount here. Okay? Okay? I'm here. Here, I get the foot on the body. If I feel my leg is not right, I just keep the ball of my foot on her hip. I move my body like this. I just move my shoulder back, and I just move my body back a drop. Now look. So how did I move my body back? I just pull close. I use my leg on the floor a little bit, or I just move my neck on the floor. Anything you need to do just to move your body back a little bit. Look, I can even walk on my shoulder. Now I just put the side of my foot on her body, and I push her. She comes back in. She falls. I end up here. Okay, again. Now I'm going to hook your shoulder. Take this off, please. Look, I already moved in the right spot because when I push, my body moves naturally. Now when she puts the weight into me, my knee goes back here. And she falls. Look how her elbow is closed. If she underhooks this leg, now I start going like this. So if she underhooks, she's going to try to underhook both probably. Now I have an underhook here. Now I start going on an elbow like this. And I start going for a Kimura grip to here. Okay, again. I just keep trying to throw in more options for you guys if you're playing from here. I just want to give you any option possible that you guys could come up with, okay? So we're here. I'm going to call her sleeve. It's on the hip. You close your elbow. I move her shoulder back. I move my body back to the side.
So I just do this. I go 1, 2. I can lift up my shoulder to walk if I want. I could push off of her to walk. I go on my elbow to move my body back. If I move my body back, it's a little easier for me to put my leg down. If you don't feel like you need to, you can just stay in. There's no problem. So I'm looking at her shoulder. I'm going to be here. I go modified. She puts weight into me. I put my knee on her neck like this. Do you feel like you're uncomfortable right now?
Very. I feel like I'm flowing.
Now look. Here. Try to pull this up. It's closed. Now look, I'm here. I can hook her hip even with my foot like this if I want. Or I can hook my knee in. I can even go like this here. Or my knee in. Now I pummel. Once I pummel, I come up here. Okay? So one more time. Now, I'm going to show you the last alternative option where my knee is over here, my leg is over here. This might be the most powerful one because it directly puts her body on her hips. Okay? I use more the foot on the shoulder and armpit because I'm looking more for upper body attacks. If I'm looking for closed guard, I'll use more of this one. Because a lot of times when I'm in collar sleeve and she closes the elbow, I'll put my shin like this, push her elbow, and go to close guard. You see? So I'll use this style of collar sleeve more when I'm looking for closed guard. So I'm going to be here in regular collar sleeve. I'm going to be pulling for the omoplata. I'm going to put my knee here, the modified, I push. She comes back. Now I'm going to put my shin on the side of her body like this. And notice my shin is on the side of her body and her elbow's closed. Now when I do this one, look what I'm going to do. I try to pull, she closes. I push her wrist to her body a little bit. I chop, and now look. This is like a cutting one, right?
It's powerful.
It's very powerful, this one. You see? I always use this one even with people way bigger than me. It doesn't matter because of the perfect placement of their weight, they fall. You see? So now I'm here. I bring my knee in. I can even go here. I can go here. You see, I have so many options that I can do. Again. Here she closes her elbow. Bring my knee in, I push. I move my body to the side. This is just one simple hip escape I need to do. So look, 1. Once I do this, all I do is I move my foot off the bicep. I go here on her ribs. The side of my foot on her ribs. Notice how my knee is under her elbow kind of. I'm in this area where my knee could go over under her elbow. So all I do is I pull, she closes, I go like this. So when her knee's on her elbow, look what I'm going to do with my knee. I'm going to push my knee to push her elbow to her chest even more. So I'm doing this now. My foot is chopping her leg, and now I'm reinforcing her elbow being on her body. So my knee is now pushing her bicep elbow area. My hand is covering her thumb, finger here, and I'm chopping her leg all at the same time while finishing the sweep. So now I have this, and this. That might be why this is the most powerful one. It might be the most powerful one. I feel like they're all the same, but this one has a lot of things that even work even more advanced because I can chop the elbow at the same time. So when I'm here and she pulls her elbow, and I go here, I put pressure, I move, she defends. I bring my knee up, I go here, look. Look how my knee goes on top of this elbow. So try to smash me. Back. Guys, you see how I'm able to use my knee to even push her elbow to her body even more? When I'm here, I'm using my knee on her elbow. So now her elbow is chopped. I'm chopping her foot. I'm putting pressure. Now look how her body has to fall up. You see, it's really, really cool, the mechanics of this position. You see how I'm able to even push elbow to her body? Okay, so again, we're here. Here. Put my shoulder here. I'm going collar sleeve. I go omoplata, she closes. So now I move my body. I use my 2 options, 1 or 2. She brings her elbow in. I use my knee on her arm. Look. 1. Go back. I'm here. I'm closing her elbow. She brings her body in. I punch. I bring my knee up. I'm hooking her shoulder this time. I push her head away. She comes into me again. 2. Again, I'm here, showing you some of the closed guard steps from before. I'm here. I use modified collar sleeve. I move my body. She puts weight into me. Now I have the foot on the shoulder. I go here. I pull the arm. She closes it. I get my palm on top of this part of her hand. Again, now she will not be able to post. Try to post your hand, like try to open your hand and post it. You see? Because as I keep her hand here, she won't be able to keep the post. So I want you to focus when you're holding the sleeve on the thumb and this finger when you're grabbing. Again. Like circle your hand on my wrist, like this. Yeah. But if I'm over here, circle your hand on my wrist. Yeah, this is great. And I'll show why I want them to open their hand like that. So again, foot's on the shoulder, I'm here. I'm going collar sleeve, you close your elbow. I move my body, I get here. Now we're gonna do the newest variation. My knee goes on her elbow, I push. Once I push on her elbow, my foot hooks her body. I end up here. So all I do is this, I push her head away from me, her spine is misaligned with her. As she comes in, we end up here. Pull the elbow up, I get my knee under her armpit, look. If I get my knee under her armpit, look how I can grab the elbow now. Okay, come on top. I can get this grip here. I have so many options. Now all three. Elbows closed. I'm trying to go omoplata. I want the omoplata. So now I feel like I can't. So instead of doing all the options we learned before, I just punch her neck. I have two ways to punch her neck. One is this way, getting my knee up and punching. The other is modified collar sleeve. I move my body to the side. She comes back, I bring my knee up. I go for this one. I can have the foot on the shoulder. I pull the elbow. Close your elbow, please. One. Go back. I'm going to explain why. What do you do if the person's elbow isn't closed? Because you're going to want to balance, right? So we're going to learn the correlation after. When you go for a sweep, how the person defends the sweep. They give the back or a submission, right? So it's going to be exactly the same correlation, just the opposite way. So we're here. I'm here. I hook her shoulder now. I go modify collar sleeve. I push. She comes into me. Two. Back. I'm here. I'm going collar sleeve. I'm trying to go omoplata. She closes. She's here. I'm trying to go here. I'm trying to go omoplata. I can't. I punch the neck. My head is facing her shoulder already. As she comes back, I go to elbow up. Three. Now I end up here. And as we learned, there's so many different ways she can defend this, right? Under my leg again, please. This one.
Oh.
Yeah, here. Now I can go for a Kimura grip here. There's so many different options. Okay, so these are the three sweeps that we could do. And the angles are here. Foot on the bicep, hooking the shoulder, scissoring the hip right here. All three are the ways that we could collar sleeve her. And this style of collar sleeve is with the elbow on her body. When her elbow is on her body, why is it on the body? She's defending a submission. What do we know? Every time the opponent defends a submission, they give us a sweep. So we're here again. Feet up. Last, so I'm here. I'm going to her omoplata. She closes. I move my body. I can bring my knee up. I start moving her away. One. Back. Two. And you see, I can do it with the modified collar sleeve. I can do the sweep. It's just not as strong because her neck is not involved in it. So keep your neck that way. When I do this, look. You see the difference?
Yeah.
So I don't want you guys to try doing the scissor sweep with the modified collar sleeve. I don't feel it's as strong as when you bring your knee back here. Because now you see how I have this shoulder involved? Here I'm pushing it away, but when I add this in, look how her shoulder hangs and starts coming this way. As I use my hand like this, look. Look, look, look. See how that connection of my hand on the knee helps us move that shoulder back forward? That's why I like to go back to the regular collar sleeve here. And I'll even just stay like this. I'll just stay in modified collar sleeve, moving my hips. Because it's safe to move my hips here. I'm trying to pull the elbow, I can't. Now I come back. Here, I punch his shoulder. I'm here. Change angles. So you can see this elbow more. Collar sleeve, she closes her elbow, right? So I move my body so my head is aligned with her and I punch her head. I use my knee up like this, right? So I'm already ready to go. I just move my body, punch her away, she comes back forward. Her arm is open. I go triangle. You see? She's gonna have to close her elbow to defend this. I'm here. I punch her away. I punch her away. I use my knee. She starts facing me. She falls. Go back. Here. Now I'm gonna do the modified one. I go here. I hook her shoulder now. As I have my shin here, she puts weight in me. I bring my wrists back. 2. I'm here. Throw my leg over. I'm here. She closes her elbow again. I go modified. I move my body. The second I move my body onto this hip, I have way more power. Now I can put my knee on top of her elbow. Look. Look at this pressure. Now look. Okay. So all these options are viable when we're doing this position. So I just showed you 3 methods of using the scissor sweep. And like I explained before, the scissor sweep should be used to complement your submission attacks. And I'm going to explain that in the next segment. But basically, every time I'm doing a scissor sweep, it's because I failed a submission or I'm using it to bait a submission, which you're going to learn next. And the rules of balance, if you guys are starting to see, I want you to actually feel this when you're doing it. Like close your elbow and knee and let the person bring you this way. Look how I fall instantly. That's literally what a scissor sweep is. It's literally just understanding how the body works, understanding the rules of balance, understanding that when I go to face somebody, so my head is not aligned with my body. When I go to face you, my weight has to go forward. I fall. Okay? There's 2 different ways of doing the scissor sweep. In this first part of the series, you're learning how we manually manipulate the spine. We're going to learn methods of flanking in the next series, and that is going to be an even more efficient way of doing this way. But this way works just as good as well because we're going for a submission. They defend the submission. We do this. And again, we had all these things where we're able to remove the elbow. I showed you so many ways to remove the elbow to attack the submission. This is going to be a cheat code when you feel the elbow's closed. It's like, oh my God, the elbow's closed. I can't do it. They're too strong. I can't do any of the other methods. Oh my God, scissor sweep is right there, always. You just have to understand how to manipulate the spine. We just have to understand how to tilt the person. And then once we understand that, we'll be able to scissor sweep everyone, okay? There's 3 ways. Side, underhook, spider. 2 ways of manipulating the spine. One is knee above the hand versus the modified collar sleeve. We use both methods to manipulate her spine this way. As she comes back, she puts weight forward. As she comes back forward, her elbow's closed. As she's here, she falls. Remember, when I use my foot on the side of her body, I'm trapping both parts of her leg, you see? If I just go on one, I can scissor sweep her. I probably can. But it's not as technically correct because one part of her leg will be exposed. If I go to just her butt here, her foot could open. She has movement with her foot. If I go on the lower part, her hip could open, and as she opens her hip, she could bring her knee up. So that's why I prefer to trap both parts of the leg when I do the scissor sweep. But again, it's not wrong if you do one of them. It's not wrong if you just go to the knee. There's many different ways you can do it. And they're all technically you could get through it. But you can technically get this position. But how I like to teach you the most efficient way that's the most technically sound. Because in theory, this is the most technically sound way, right? Chopping both parts of the leg, so one part of their leg cannot help them base if they try to stay standing. Both parts of the legs chopped, elbow closed, they have to fall, okay? I hope that you guys are really getting the understanding now of how the body works and how we're moving the body, Like I said, this is such a broad concept in Jiu-Jitsu. We use this everywhere. If you were following my De La Riva series, this should be instantly your brain should be lighting up right now because you understand all of these concepts that we just learned previously, So we're gonna practice this now. I want you to play with all 3 variations because all 3 are viable, And again, if you're doing this and the person starts leaning into you and you start feeling in danger, you immediately go to modified collar sleeve. So if I'm here, just as a safety net, because if you're doing a scissor sweep, let's say, and I'm like this, and I go to sweep, and I feel like I just can't, her weight's already back, and she's starting to smash me over my leg. All we do is this. We go modified collar sleeve. All I do is bring my knee up. So start, I'm going to scissor sweep. No, stay up and try to defend and start smashing me. Yeah, look. I just bring my knee up. Modified collar sleeve. If I'm in danger, if I'm not on the armpit, if I'm not on the spider. If I'm on the spider, there's no danger here. You see? Just anything here and here. Remember I told you before, if she smashes my leg, I'm in danger. But every time she goes to smash my leg, if I go modified collar sleeve, go to smash my leg, now I can square my hip up. Now there's no smash. Now I could return to here, to here, to here, to here. Go back, back. See, I'm able to sweep her with the modified collar sleeve. But if I'm over her head like this, look how much stronger the sweep is. You see, because your shoulder really falls, right?
Probably.
None of those things are wrong. That's how jiu-jitsu is. Nothing is wrong. There's just methods that are more technically sound than other methods. So I really just wanted you to understand every piece of a scissor sweep, okay? With us manually changing the spine. And also, you just have to understand how to move your hip to the side just a little bit. Just a little bit tilt to the side. Now my foot can just do this. And now it's easy for me to sweep the person, okay? We're gonna work this now. You're gonna work those 3 sweep variations. I just give you a troubleshoot in case the person starts smashing you if your foot's not on the bicep. If your foot's on the bicep, you have no problems with the smash because our knee will be aligned with our head, we'll be okay. If you're underhooking or here, they could try to fold your leg, right? Anyone bigger than you will try this. And all you do is frame, get to the modified collar sleeve, open your knee and square your hip. Because they can only smash you if you're on your side. The second you square your hip and you have the modified collar sleeve, there's no smash. So that will save you in that spot if you start feeling in danger, okay? That is why that modified collar sleeve is so important for us to understand because it literally saves us in all these different spots. Anytime we lose that connection to the bicep, it's fine. And honestly, the scissor kicking one could be very strong because we're literally going on top of the elbow, you know? So I think it's gonna really help your game adding this style of collar sleeve in. And it's going to give you more options when you're looking for the submission, what to do, and they close their elbow. You don't have to force anything. They don't want to give me a submission? Awesome, we're going to scissor sweep them. You know? And it's such a basic, fundamental move, right? But it's so complex when you really understand what's going on. You know, and many people don't really understand what's going on in scissor sweep. They just grab it and they just kick and they cut the body. And they can be strong. They can actually finish it. But is it the most technically sound way to finish the scissor sweep? If the arm is straight, opposed to with the arm bent. Arm bent should be when we're doing a scissor sweep, because if the arm's straight, we can attack a submission. You know? So that is my view of the scissor sweep. Obviously, you can scissor sweep if the arm is straight. I just think that we should be attacking submissions if the arm is straight. And then this is our tool we use when they close their arm. Okay? So we're going to work this now, and then I'm going to show you the next concept to come. What's